All right, now before I move on to doing the eyeballs, which is we're just gonna create a UV sphere. Wanna kind of tweak the face here and the eyes, and I think for the eye area, you can go ahead and just kind of move this closer together like that, and kind of make it slightly smaller. Okay, and I think maybe from this view I think could add some more volume around this area. So I'm gonna go to my draw brush and crank this up, and yeah, go ahead and just add some more volume here, some more puffiness around this area. I think I could go ahead and lift this up slightly, that, and add some more volume here. More volume around this area and smooth it. So this part was looking kind of flat, so I'm just gonna bulk this up like that. Okay, and looking from this view, Control 3 on my numpad. Okay, so I still want to have a shape like this. So I think I'm going to go to my grab brush. I pull this up slightly like this. And I'm going to go to my draw sharp and I'm gonna add an indication of the chin area there. Smooth it out. This, and just kind of smooth it. And looking from this view again. Here you go. And for the mouth, I definitely think that, let's see here. I'm gonna go ahead and mask this area out. Okay. And I'm gonna go to my grab brush. I just kind of wanna, maybe I'm gonna move this down. I'm gonna Control I to invert it. I'm going to move the upper lips down slightly. So I'm going to go here to my lock. I just want to move it down. So I think it's in the Y direction. Let me test. Yep, that's in the Y direction. Allows me to move just up or down. Alright, and I'm going to go ahead and move it down like this. That. Okay. And slightly up. And Alt M. And I'm gonna move it like this and down. A little too large. I think it's getting a little too large now. So I'm gonna go turn off my lock, and I think I made it a little too wide now, the mouth. So I'm gonna go ahead and make it less wide. Tone that down slightly. Go. Okay, and looking in this view, could kind of bulk this up like so and smooth it. And I think I could kind of move it forward because it looks a little flat. So I'm gonna move it forward. I think it's in the Z direction. Lock in the Z direction. Yeah, here you go. That would be it. So we don't really want to have any flat lips going. So yeah, definitely gonna move that forward. And gonna go ahead and turn it off. Alright, so kind of looking over here, just kind of studying what we need to do. Anything else that we need to do here? I think could kind of lift this up slightly. Move this down. And add some indication of the inner corner of the lips here. Alright. And yeah, add a little volume in this area. And I'm gonna go to my smoothing and smooth that out. Add some more volume here and smooth it. Okay. So very important to really go look at your quarter view, and this is how you're gonna tell if your character is correct, and you don't want the face to be flat or anything. So I always look at the quarter view and also from the top view. So when you're looking from the top view, you should still see some roundness here, like a cylindrical form. Think of the lips wrapping around a can of tuna. And I think I'm gonna go set to Z and make this area rounder. So go. Alright, great. And looking at the eye also. So for the eye, also think of the eyeball already. Think of the eyeball is already in there. And then your eyelid should be shaping out like this, where it looks like it's wrapping around an eyeball. So even though the eyeball is not there yet, it's a good idea to sculpt as if it's already there. Okay. All right. See here. See what else we could do here. Okay, I think for this, we could definitely work on the lip area. So I'm gonna go ahead and move that out. Show more the border here. Cool. And make that border more prominent. Smooth it slightly. And then I'm gonna go to my draw brush and make this slightly puffier. Okay, and I think for the lips, I'm gonna go ahead and make this pop out more. A vermilion border the lips. And I'm gonna go ahead and make this pop out slightly. Push this in like that. And I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the lock. Just gonna move it up. And add some clay here. This. Looking from the front. I think for the lip area, I'm gonna go ahead and make it look like it's open up slightly. I think for his, I think if you guys look over here, you can see a little bit of his teeth, and I think that's, I wanna go ahead and make his mouth slightly open, like you see there. I think he always sporting that look where it's slightly showing his front tooth. And that's what I'm gonna do. I'm actually gonna go ahead and go to my draw sharp and just kind of carve it in like this. Smooth it. Here you go. All right. Okay, cool. And I'm gonna go ahead and this here. Definitely spending a lot of time on the lips. That's what I'm doing. I'm spending a lot of time on the lips here. I think if I could probably get a photo of him without his beard, that would even be better, but it was kind of hard. It's kind of hard for me to find one without a beard. So it's like I gotta have to just use my imagination on this. Imagination on how his lips would be. Alright. Little puffiness here. And smooth it. Little puffiness in this area and just kind of smooth it. And here, I'm gonna go ahead and add a little more shape there. Smooth it here. Alright, and I'm gonna go ahead and kind of move this way. Smooth that out. You can see I'm spending so much time on the lips. Trying to really get the lightness down on the lips. Number one thing, I'm spending time on those lips. Alright. Okay, so I think the basic shape is somewhat there, and definitely sometimes it's best for us to take a rest, take a break, and then go back to it later. And then an artist's job is never done. I always say that, but it's true. And we're going to, maybe we could be doing the ears later, go back to the lips, and later on go back to the mouth again. And maybe we're gonna see something wrong with the mouth or the lips or the nose or anything like that. Right now we are still in the basic shape, so I do want to add the eyeballs already. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and Shift A and add a UV sphere. And go ahead and scale that down. Move it closer. There you go. And let's go ahead and move it closer this way. G and then Y. And move it up. Okay, the way the eyeballs is set up in the eyes is you have to think off. So you have the eyeballs right here. And we're looking at the side view, right? And the way the eyeball is set in place is we have this upper eyelid acts like a window awning. So it covers most of the eyeball, the upper part of the eye there. And then the lower lid cover a little bit of it, of course, like this. Right, but most of it is more like from the upper eyelid part, okay? And so we have it set up like that. And also, in general, you're gonna have an eyeball here and an eyeball here, and if you duplicate the eyeball, you're gonna be able to fit 3 eyeballs in there. But of course, there's going to be, that's the generic shape. There might be some people that's slightly, the eyeball slightly a little bit farther on the side or a little closer, but in general, you're gonna have to think of the generic shape where you have 3 eyeballs that you could set in place there. Alright, and let me see here. I think I could kind of move this. Let's see. I'm gonna go look at his side view. Again, side view. I think I'm good. Kind of move it back. All right. I'm gonna go and press G and X like this. Okay. And I'm gonna go ahead and go to sculpt mode and further add more shape to the eyelid here. I'm gonna go use my draw sharp, hold control, and just make this pop out more. And I'm gonna go and move this in, pull that down, and here gonna go and pull this back like this. Okay, and looking in this view, definitely could add a shape like this and kind of pull this down, because I know he has that look in his eye. It's very sharp around the inner corner of his eye. If you look at Michael B. Jordan, very sharp. And so that's what I'm trying to create there. I'm gonna go ahead and kind of push this in using the draw sharp. Go. Gonna go ahead and use my scrape brush. This looking a little bubbly. Scrape this, and I'm gonna go and push this in slightly. Go. So yeah, using the scrape brush, you could get a nice hard edge, as I'm doing here. And nice hard edge, like that. Go. And could go ahead and maybe start to add more of his indication of his eyelids here. So as you start to add more of your details here, you're gonna definitely see more of your character come to life. Yeah, and add some shape on there. Smooth this out. I'm gonna go to my scrape brush and kind of flatten this area out. I'm gonna go ahead and grab this down. That. I'm gonna go to my scrape brush and then just kind of scrape this, kind of flatten this area out. All right. Crank that up. Go. Gonna go ahead and move this down like so. And also here, we're gonna go ahead and further make a cut like this. Go. And here, good. Further bring this out. That, and bring this out. There you go. Push this in. Okay, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and duplicate the eyeball. So I'm gonna go ahead and select this. I'm gonna go to my move. You can see that it's the pivot is right there on this part of the eyeball. I want to make it so it's in the middle. So I'm gonna go to Object, Set Origin to 3D Cursor. So now when we go add the mirror modifier, it's right there where it's supposed to go. It's not 100% symmetrical. So I'm gonna go to my sculpt mode, go and put this out. All right, things good. Carve that in. All right. And bring this down, the intensity. Great. And for this, I'm gonna go ahead and I think I'm gonna crank up the resolution for this. But before I do that, I do want to kind of indicate, I want to go ahead and push in the nostril area already. So that's what I want to do. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Push this in, crank up the intensity. So give him a little hole here so he can breathe. Okay. All right. So everything's good on this side. Now is a really good time to really look at your quarter view as you do this quarter view. If you have a view where your character is maybe looking like that, where you have the nose showing, that'll be great. Or if you have something that looks like this, you can see the nostrils. So that'll be awesome if you guys have something like that. It's gonna be even better. Go ahead and add a little bit of detail here, kind of make his nose a little narrower. I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bumpiness there and smooth it. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and remesh this. I'm gonna go ahead and bring down the value for the voxel size. 0.007 and remesh it. There you go. And you could go ahead and smooth this out. Alright, it's definitely coming along. And I think this needs to be pushed in. So I'm gonna go to my grab brush. I think looking over here, you could see that this part of the lid look thicker than this part, and it's not consistent. It has to be consistent, the thickness of the lids. Otherwise, you're just not gonna get the realistic feel to this. I'm gonna go and scrape this. And yeah, I'm gonna go push this in. I'm gonna use my grab brush. And I gotta turn off the Z direction. And I'm gonna go and push that in. Push it in, like so. I think I could slightly push this out so we get a little thickness there. Alright. Once again, also here, you gotta be consistent with it. And since we already have the eyes there, what we could do is we could go ahead and indicate the pupil area. That way we could see if our character's eyes is too big or too small. So I'm gonna go and select this, go to scope mode, and I'm gonna go ahead and remesh this. I'm gonna set it to 0.05 and I'm gonna go ahead and remesh that. Go, and I'm gonna smooth it. I think for this here, yeah, I'm gonna smooth it. I'm gonna go ahead and bring it down some more, maybe 0.02. Alright, and smooth it. We'll go ahead and right click shade smooth. Alright, so for this, maybe I could go to my masking, and you have to think about your character's eyes. There are some subjects, alright, where their eyes look like you could see more of the white area at the bottom. Where what I mean is some people, their eyes kind of look like this, where their pupil is like this, and you could really see the white part here. And Michael B. Jordan, that's not really the case. Okay, you could always see that his lid here, his lower lid is covering a little bit off the bottom part of his iris area. Okay, so that's gonna be in basically most photos, unless I guess if he opened his eyes really big, then this one you're gonna see the white part. But yeah, you should take a look at your character's eyes in a neutral position and see how the iris interact with the eyelids there. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead, and I think just by looking at that, I think the eye might be slightly too big. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to my grab brush and go to my head again. I'm gonna go and kind of move this down. I'm gonna go, right now I have it in Z direction. I'm gonna go turn it off. I'm gonna set it to Y. That way I'm only moving this down like so. Like that. Alright, now I'm gonna go back to my eyeball here. I'm gonna go to my scope mode, and I'm gonna go to my masking and mask out this area. Okay, I think I'm gonna need to definitely open up his eyes slightly. So I'm gonna go to my sculpt mode, back to kind of slowly opening up his eyes like that. Go. All right, now I'm back to the eyeballs, sculpt mode. Yeah, sculpt mode for the eyeballs. I'm gonna go to my masking. There you go. So the iris is really taking up a lot of the space on his eyes there. Definitely. Yeah, I think I gotta open his eyes even more. I'm gonna go to sculpt mode and open this up. Open it up some more, like that. Alright, great. Now I'm gonna go sculpt mode and go back to my masking. Back to masking this out. Okay. And I'm gonna go ahead and control I. And I'm gonna go to my clay strip brush and just gonna go ahead and okay, for some reason I'm not able, okay, so I'm gonna go to my clay strip. Maybe I just need to crank up my strength. Alright, for some reason I'm not able to do it here. Oh, okay. Don't forget, if you're having a problem sculpting, that's because you probably still have lock turn on. So I'm gonna turn that off. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and just add some more details. Just make this pop out. Make this pop out. Here you go. Okay. Alt M. And smooth that out. And I think looking at that, it might be a little too large, the iris. So what's good about this, you could just kind of slightly move it. I'm going to go to my grab brush, bring down the intensity for the grab brush, and slightly nudge that. Go. Right. And I think I'm gonna go here to my sculpt mode for the eye, and I think I'm gonna go adjust the side. I'm gonna go to my draw sharp, push this in. I'm gonna go ahead and scrape this out. Go and scrape this. And looking from the side view, see here. Okay, so I could go ahead and select, mask this area out. That way I could lift up this part here without affecting the top part. So something like this. Control I to invert it. You could kind of go ahead and move this down. Alt M. Right. Something like that. Okay, and looking from this view, I think I could go ahead and turn off. I'm gonna crank this up. I'm gonna go spend a little time. Gonna refine, adding a little shape to this. Go, a little shape there. Taking out the anatomy. Okay, you don't want him to look old, gonna smooth that out. Okay, and I think you could go ahead and mask out this area for his lids. And I'm gonna go to my grab brush and just gonna slightly bring this down. See how that looks. I think that might be a little too much. Okay, so I'm gonna go pull that up slightly. Alt M. And let's look from this view. Okay, so there's a little issue here. The upper eyelid's supposed to poke out more than the lower lids, and we're not getting that. So I'm gonna go back to my sculpt mode. I'm gonna go ahead and bring this up a little bit, the eyeball, and I'm gonna go to my sculpt mode here. Okay, and I'm gonna go to my grab brush. I'm gonna go ahead and move this forward, the upper lids. So this has to pop out more than the lower lids. Okay, like that. And I think the lower lid here is sticking out a little too much, like around this area. So I'm gonna go ahead and highlight this part here. Control I to invert it. Go to my grab brush. I'm gonna go to my Z in the lock Z and just gonna push this in. That. Alt M. Alright, and I'm gonna go to my eyeball here. I'm gonna slowly rotate this. I'm gonna hit my tab key to go to edit mode, and I'm gonna go to my polygon face here and select this. I'm gonna turn off the viewport overlay here so we don't see the orange. And we could press R and then X to slightly rotate it so it's looking more forward, the eyeball. Like that. And I'm gonna turn it right back on. Back to edit mode. Right, and see here. Okay, so I think eyes here could be slightly wider. I think it could be wider. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off, grab brush, and yeah, I'm gonna widen up slightly. Widen it up slightly. That. Yeah, so it was a little too short. Okay. And I'm gonna go to my remesher. I'm gonna go to sculpt mode, remesh here, and I'm gonna bring this down to 0.006 and remesh that because I do wanna further work on the eyes here. I'm gonna go to my clay strip and I'm gonna go ahead and add some clay here on top. That. Go. And I'm gonna go to my scrape brush and then just kind of scrape this area out. Using my draw sharp, carve this in. Alright, cool. And then I could gonna further indicate this look that he has. We got a little depth on his eyes here in this area. A little depth there. Part's important. So make this bulkier around that area here. Little bulk, add a little bulk, and smooth it. A little too much. I'm gonna go ahead and push this in slightly. All right. Okay, so we're kind of in a roll here.